Be ready. 5 seconds.
When I was a girl of about 12, I used to stay in a village with my grandparents. Those days, the transport system was not very good, so we used to get the morning papers only in the afternoon. The weekly magazine used to come one day late. All of us would wait eagerly for the bus, which used to come with the papers, weekly magazines, and the post. At that time, Triveni was a very popular writer in our language. She was a wonderful writer. Her style was easy to read and very convincing. Her stories usually dealt with complex problems in the lives of ordinary people and were always very interesting. Unfortunately, she died very young. Even now, after 40 years, people continue to appreciate her novels. One of her novels was appearing as a serial in the weekly. It is the story of an old lady and her ardent desire to go to Kashi. Most Hindus believe that going to Kashi is the ultimate punya. This old lady also believed in this, and her struggle to go there was described in that novel. In the story, there was also a young orphan girl who falls in love, but there is no money for the wedding. In the end, the old lady gives away all her savings without going to Kashi. She says the happiness of this orphan girl is more important than worshipping the Lord at Kashi. My grandmother never went to school, so she could not read. Every Wednesday, the magazine would come and I would read the next episode of the story to her. During that time, she would forget all her work and listen with the greatest concentration. Later, she could repeat the entire text by heart. My grandmother too never went to Kashi, so she identified herself with the novel's protagonist. More than anybody else, she was the one most interested in knowing what happened next in the story and used to insist that I read the serial out to her. After hearing what happened next in the novel, she would join her friends at the temple courtyard where we children would also gather to play hide and seek. She would discuss the latest episode with her friends. At that time, I never understood why there was so much of debate about the story. Once I went for a wedding with my cousins to the neighboring village. In those days, a wedding was a great event. We children enjoyed ourselves thoroughly. We would eat and play endlessly, savoring the freedom because all the elders were busy. I went for a couple of days but ended up staying there for a week. When I came back to my village, I saw my grandmother in tears. I was surprised, for I had never seen her cry even in the most difficult of situations. What had happened? I was worried. She did not reply. I did not understand and forgot about it. In the night, after dinner, we were sleeping in the open terrace of the house. It was a summer night and there was a full moon. My grandmother came and sat next to me. Her affectionate hands touched my forehead. I realized she wanted to speak. When I was a young girl, I lost my mother. There was nobody to look after and guide me. My father was a busy man. He got married again. In those days, People never considered education essential for girls, so I never went to school. I got married very young and had children. I became very busy.